It's amazing how much more we're starting to see this now. People who are willing to defend themselves and their home and their cars and their valuables and their life and their family against this tsunami of black criminality and black violence coming into their house, into their street, into their neighborhood. It's still a small percentage of the people who are victims of this crime and violence. We're going to see a couple of those videos right now. People who defend themselves and people who chose not to defend themselves.
A terrifying moment as a teen pulls out a gun on a homeowner in broad daylight. It was 4:30 in the afternoon. Surveillance video shows the teen walk up to the door carrying a bag as he rings the doorbell. We're not identifying the homeowner who opens the door or the suspect because he's underage. Watch what happens next. Within seconds, the vigilant homeowner sees the teen reach for a gun and he slams the door, closes it, and locks it. The teen then attempts to kick the door in numerous times, even hiding behind the concrete wall before running off on foot. The homeowner then follows the teen in his car.
As he realized that he was being followed by the citizen, he did turn around with a firearm in his hand. The citizen then ducked out of the way, ducking below his dashboard, and hit the gas in order to get away from the suspect, and ended up actually hitting the suspect.
The chief said the suspect was in ICU, and the DA has agreed to charge the 16-year-old with attempted aggravated robbery.
The homeowner was very, very concerned, very shaken up.
Let's go to Indian River County, where deputies need your help this morning, finding a 16-year-old named Jesse Jones. Investigators there calling him a person of interest in a violent home invasion that ended in gunfire. Let's get right now at 14th Place Southwest near Vero Beach. Okay, that's where we find WPTV News Channel 5's Alyssa Hyman with much more and what we're learning from investigators. Alyssa?
Right. Well, the man who lives here at this home right behind me told deputies that he woke up to someone trying to break into his home. So when he went to go check it out, he found a suspect. The suspect pulled out a gun, started firing. So the homeowner says he fired back. Now, investigators are still trying to piece together exactly how all of this incident unfolded. They say the armed burglary suspect tried to kick in the door. This happened around 5:30 yesterday evening while the renter was sleeping. The resident woke up, grabbed his gun to confront the intruder. Detectives say the armed burglar opened fire first, and then the resident fired back, shooting him twice. The intruder ran off and collapsed in the road.
Him and the homeowner were kind of spatting back at each other as to why he broke in his home, and he didn't want to shoot him, and he kept asking him, why'd you do it? Why'd you break in? And he wouldn't answer.
Now, the suspect is expected to survive. Now, both the resident and the suspect's guns were recovered here on scene. Detectives and deputies say that the man who lives here, the resident, was taken in for questioning. No word yet on whether charges will be filed. I can tell you in the last 10 minutes or so, we did see a truck pull up here. Two men got out, went inside the home, came out, got back into the car and left. Not sure whether or not that was the homeowner.
Hi guys, good evening to you. As you referenced, a rash of robberies and now an increase in police patrols and talk of hiring private security. As seen here in this home security video, as she was riding her bike in the 1800 block of North Sedgwick, the woman was pushed from her bike by a young man with two accomplices nearby. Her purse was taken.
It seems to have gotten worse in the last probably 6 months.
Old Town resident Karen Stevenson has lived in this neighborhood for 38 years. She believes the streets have never been more dangerous.
Scared. This is getting crazy, insane every day. I hear something new, and it's almost like you can't go out of your home. We feel terrorized in this neighborhood.
Stevenson says she and some of her neighbors have requested additional police patrols and also are considering hiring private security, which seems to be a growing trend. Several Northside neighborhoods have already done so, including in and around Wrigleyville.
We've had that conversation, but trying to get that, congealed and get that going.
In the meantime, as it relates to the robbery of the woman on the divvy bike, She tells police the three young men got into a black Honda Civic or Accord with an out-of-state plate that may begin with 311 and made their getaway. The local alderman, Michelle Smith, tells me that increased patrols, either by CPT or CPD or private security, is not solely the answer. Here is a quote. I am reviewing data that points to recent changes in the juvenile justice system that appear to be a significant part of the problem. Crime must have consequences. In the meantime, I have been assured that there will be an additional 10 new police officers assigned to our neighborhood, as well as the increased involvement of the robbery squad. The full description of the suspects as it relates to that woman being assaulted on the bike will be put on our website at WGNTV.com. You guys, I can't believe that she wasn't knocked out or had her neck broken or whatever. That was so violent. Reporting from Old Town, Patrick Elwood, WGN News. Back to you in the studio.
I got a kick out of that alderman, otherwise known as a city council member. She's got the data, and she's going to use that data to beat the hell out of those crooks. Look, she's a member of the Chicago Democratic machine, okay? She's a lawyer. She was a member of the U.S. Attorney staff out there. So she knows the drill. She knows the drill. But because she's part of that big fat machine that nominates, supports, and works for Kim Foxx and Rahm Emanuel, both of whom believe we cannot arrest our way out of this mess, she's turned her back on the way real people solve real crimes and reduce real crime, and it's not going down to the accountant and getting the latest printout of the crime numbers so you can throw some cops in there weeks after the crime we're talking about ended. Nothing to say, Alderman, about the we can't arrest our way out of this mess. Nothing to say about Kim Foxx, whose main goal as the the attorney in Cook County is to let everybody know that black people are relentless victims of relentless white criminality all the time, everywhere. That explains everything, especially why cops are always picking on them. In Chicago now, they brag. Kim Foxx brags their jail population is at an all-time low. Yet we get the people in that neighborhood saying, oh yeah, I've never seen neighborhoods this dangerous. Is there any connection between those two things? Not one person will talk about what the connection is. Not that goofy-ass reporter who goes out night after night after night, reports on this black criminality while pretending it being black has nothing to do with it, didn't even have the stones to say it on the air. Oh, go to my website and I'll tell you what it is. Okay, we found out what it is. But we also found out who you are, Mr. Reporter. We found out who you are. We found out who the alderman is. We know who Kim Foxx is. And we know you're all on the same page. That you're just too afraid to do your jobs because you just don't want to make the black kids angry.